So talking about habits, it's something that always saves us a lot of time because we don't have to really relearn how to pick up the toothbrush and start brushing the teeth. We don't have to rethink about how to take the spoon and bring it to the mouth. But if you... Be quiet. But we need to... Yeah. But for example, and as we start chewing, if you notice, if you kind of just close your eyes for a minute and start chewing, and you notice that one side of your mouth is stronger than the other, and the teeth are coming together more clearly than the other. If you think about how you, as I was saying, like in dance class, I was always moving in standing in a certain place in the room that gave me this safety net of feeling of who I am and how I could perform the best in class and be seen. The whole psychological thing about where I place myself in a room. We're talking about habits and how they save us a lot of time, but sometimes they can get us stuck. The way that we move, the way that we stand, also is habitual. So if you just notice how you are right now, are you leaning on your elbows? Are you leaning on your hands? Are you collapsing in your abdominals? Are you, whatever it is, it's not bad or right, it's just that's the habit that you have adopted to yourself. And I think what we try to do in class here when we meet is to kind of take a look, like put it under a microscope and see if it works for us. And if it doesn't work as well, maybe we can find another way of creating more varieties, so more possibilities, more variations, nuances that can open up and enlarge that array of possibilities. I mean, we don't have to be just one way. We don't have to get dressed just one way. I mean, we can change the style that we're wearing, right? In the same way how we hold ourselves. So if the feedback that you give to yourself or you get from others that being a certain way is not working for you, then you can start finding a way to hold yourself differently, and on and on and on and on. So last time we talked about posture as a dynamic thing, and today I got a question about the positioning of the neck, which we started looking at last time. So we're going to kind of continue with that thing. So let's just lie down for a minute and sense how we are on the ground. How is your body giving itself into the floor this morning? Is the floor hard? Are your bones hard? Is there a way to have a conversation between your bones and the floor? And not have the floor win or not let the bones win, because we do need tone and we do need to hold ourselves in space. But we don't want the floor to be so hard that we can't lay there. So somehow the bones have to give into the floor, and the floor has to rise up, meeting the bones. So somehow it's in our mind's eye how we translate those two forces, giving into gravity and being in gravity. It's actually a very interesting thought. We can expand on it another time. Right now, we just pay attention. Where is your head? Where in the back of the head are you laying? And see if you were to just very gently tilt your head. Does it want to tilt to one side more than it wants to tilt to the other side? Is it the shape of the skull that's making it this way? Is it the positioning of your vertebrae down the spine, maybe scoliosis, that makes you want to turn to one side more than the other? And if you didn't turn your head at all, if you just lay where it is, I won't even say center because I don't know if it's in the center. If you were to move your eyes to one side or the other, which side will be nicer, more comfortable? No doubt we can move the eyes to the right and we can move the eyes to the left. But inside the head, there is some resistance to one side more than the other. Is it the same side that you had a little bit more difficulty turning your head to? Try to remember which side is the side that's a little bit less comfortable. And rest. And now inside your mouth, take your tongue to the right and then bring it back to center. And then take your tongue to the left. And back and forth, the tongue goes to the right and the tongue goes to the left. And again, is one side more comfortable and the other side has some kind of a resistance? Is it the same side that the head and the eye, or is it different? And go ahead and bend your legs, your knees, put the knees up. Kit, come here, sweetie. No, not talking. Not talking, sweetheart. Lie down next to me. And as you're laying with the knees up towards the ceiling, think about tilting your knees to the right and to the left. Just a little bit, just like if you were going, if 12 o'clock is up towards the ceiling, you're going to 1 and you're going to 11. Or you're going to 2, maybe 1.5 and 10.5, but no more than that. And notice which side is lighter, easier. And is it the side that the head was a little bit less comfortable? Or did it switch down somewhere in the spine? What is your personal story? How is your puzzle put together from all the years of moving and walking and sitting and doing things? And rest, still with the knees up. Let's take the knees to number 1. So we're going to go towards the right. And allow the head to roll to the right as well. And bring the knees and the head back up straight to the ceiling. And back and forth. Shh. Please be quiet. Sit down. Please. I need you to be quiet. I think Mimi is the only one that can talk now, okay? You play with your iPad.
move the head the same way as the knees?
The head goes to one and the knees go to one. Both going a little bit to the right. So now we're kind of losing balance. We're rolling a little bit to the right and we're coming back. And then we're going to do the same thing to the left. So we're going from 12 to 11 or to 10 and a half. And the head goes to the left as well. The knees go to the left and the head goes to the left. The knees are moving a little bit to the left and the head moves with it and the eyes moves with it. And there is a sense of losing balance and rolling to the left. But before we go too far, we come back. As the head rolls, shh, you need to be quiet. You need to be silent. The head rolls to the left and the legs roll to the left. Just a little bit. A little bit of distance between the feet and between the legs, hip width apart. And rest in the center. And next we're going to take the knees to the right and the head to the left. And then we'll come back to the center. The knees will go to the right and the head will go to the left. So there's kind of a twist in the spine, maybe somewhere along where the waist is, where the head goes in the opposite direction, then the knees are going. And try to do it really, really small so you can feel where the twist is starting to happen. And how big is the twist in the spine? That's more interesting right now than how far the knees can go to the side. How is the upper spine responding to the lower spine? And do the other side. And rest in the center for a minute. And try to keep the knees straight up towards the ceiling and roll your pelvis to the right and turn your head to the left and come back to center. And then roll the pelvis to your left and your head to the right without the legs. So we have a smaller lever now. We are concentrating more on the spine. Is the twist in the back feels different? Does it spread on more vertebrae? Is it a little bit longer? So the legs are not moving. The legs are not moving. It's the hips that's moving to one side and the other, while the head is moving to the opposite side.
Now is your back, and small, your back flat on the floor?
No,
Okay.
no. It's in its normal curvature.
Okay.
But that's where the twist is happening. That's where so the head is going one way and the pelvis is going another way, and the twist is in the area where the belt is. See how big your belt is as it rotates, as it twists. It's like wringing a towel with the right hand going forward and the left hand going backwards to squeeze the water out. See how many vertebrae can actually create a rotation when only thing that's moving is the pelvis and the head. That's not true. I mean, other vertebrae are moving, but I'm talking about the legs being isolated from the pelvis. I should be a little bit more clear. And when you're ready, you can lengthen your legs and rest. Play. Play. Push the back. Play. Which one do you want, Mickey?
Yay.
Yes, Mickey.
Oh, I wanna.
I'm gonna go teach now. As you're laying, you can either bend your knees or keep the legs long. Go ahead and say aha, yes, nod with your head. So the nose, I mean, you don't have to say aha, it's just the nose moving up and down. Sorry. So the chin is moving up and down and the nose is moving up and down. How far does the nose move? You can open your eyes and look at the ceiling and kind of watch the trajectory that the nose is doing, going down towards your belly button and up towards the end above your head. What is comfortable? And if you have your legs long, go ahead and bend your legs and see how it changes. And if if your knees are now bent, does the movement of the nose up and down reflects on your pelvis, and your pelvis is moving in the same way? So let's all bend our knees, if you didn't. And as you're moving your nose up towards the ceiling, shift the weight to your belly button. And as your nose moves down towards your belly button, shift the weight on your pelvis down to the tail. And as you shift your eyes and the nose up towards the ceiling, your belly button is being sunk into the floor and your lumbar area is flattened and your tailbone is up in the air. And as your nose goes straight down, your pelvis is moving, and now a little mouse can just run underneath your lower back. There's a space, a bridge. And as the nose moves up, the tail moves up in the air. And as the nose goes down, the tail reaches down towards the floor.
So as you move down, your lumbar area elevates a little bit.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
As you're doing the up and down, notice if you're going in the center of the body, or is one side of your body more prominent or comfortable? Are you relying on one side more than the other? How about the ribs? Can you feel the ribs come to the ground? Can you sense how big of the arch in the lumbar when your tail goes down and the nose goes down? And rest for a minute. Maybe even give your knees a chance to kind of come together, or lengthen your legs, whichever is more comfortable. And so the spine has 7 vertebrae in the neck, and 12 in the thoracic, and 5 in the lumbar. And then we have the sacrum and the tail. And all that structure, vertebrae by vertebrae, with the cartilage in between, and all the complexity of extending and flexing and rotating and bending to the side, has a connection between the head and the tail, which we just looked at. When the nose went up and we created a bridge underneath our neck, our pelvis actually flattened. And as we created an arch in the lumbar, the arch in the neck flattened. So now we're going to do the opposite. When we look down with the nose towards the belly button, lift your tail up. So the head and the pelvis are trying to reach one another and touch from the front. And now as the nose goes up towards the ceiling, the tail will go down to the floor, and they're going to try and meet under the floor. So your whole body is arching. And then when the nose goes down to the belly, the tail goes up, and you're trying to create a ball, like a concave and concave, convex and concave. So right now we look like a bowl of fruit. The nose is down towards the chest and the tail is up. And then the tail will go down and the nose will come up. And do it as small as you want to, but try to find that opposition. The head and the tail coming together from the front, and they're coming together from the back. How are you using your feet? Are they helping you? What makes you move? What are you thinking about? Are you seeing a picture up in space? Are you thinking about the bones changing shapes? Can you make this movement go a little faster and still feel comfortable and aware of what you're doing? And rest and lengthen your legs. And think about turning your head from side to side a little bit and see if the rotation to the side that was a little bit less favorable has become a little bit more friendly. And go ahead and roll to a side and come up to a sitting position. That was a really nice side. Okay, next week we're going to do a class of, no, next week I won't be here, but the week after I will. We're going to learn how to get up from the side. This is a sign of, oh my God, I can't do it. All right. Okay, so we're gonna sit here. If you need a back, you can use your back. But if not, just allow the nose to go down and allow the nose to come up. And notice if the curve in the neck flattens and the curve in the lumbar flattens. And when you bring your nose up, are you starting to build the curve in the lumbar and the curve in the neck? So to be able to move the lumbar, you cannot lean. I mean, it's harder to do it in here. See if you can sit up. If you need a chair or if you need the wall, there's another wall over here. But see if you can find the relationship that we just found on the floor between the neck and the lumbar. Those are two curves. So the body is a wholesome unit. And when we learn or relearn to use the spine, not segment it to only move the neck or only move the pelvis, but to actually find the connection. Do you remember this toy that we used to have as kids of the snake with the little units that moves?
Right.
Slinky.
Also slinky. Anything that has two ends that you cannot move one end without the other.
Mm.
This is what we are
Mm-hmm.
if we want to move well. So that's what we're looking for, is that eye movement down, nose movement down, chin movement down, and how does it affect my lumbar? And as I'm lifting my eyes and I'm lifting my nose and I'm lifting the chin, how much is my lumbar working? Forward and back. Can I find the relationship? When one moves, the other one is moving as well. It's a reflection. Think about a plant that's growing or a tree that's growing. What you see above is what's happening in the roots below. Cannot be a good tree without the system down below. We cannot lift the torso and have an erect and upward looking forward without a support of the pelvis and the lumbar.
One
So
sort
start-
of feels like it locks up in a certain position too, like it just locks.
So that just move a little bit less.
Okay.
So it's not how much it moves, it's just finding the connections and the ability to respond between one and the other. Even if you have to do it just in your mind's eye to begin with. And stop for a minute. And move only the lumbar. Only the lumbar. Can you feel how it's going only one up to the bra line? Kind of to the lower ribs?
Just pop, pop, pop.
Pop, 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 and it's collapsing all the organs. And I don't know why most chairs are designed for us to sit like this. Pop. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But anytime you would see people meditating, you would see them sitting either on the sitting bones or with a little bit of a lift, where you're sitting with the belly is like in a cradle, where the bone can just be stacked one on top of the other. But when the head moves, this moves. And when the head moves back, this moves back. And so when we have a problem in the neck, it's not the poor neck that's all in fault. It's how we use the whole system. So yeah, can we do exercises to the neck? Can we work with the eyes and the tongue? And yeah, we can. But I think to begin with, I want to emphasize the connection between the lower part of the body to the upper part of the body. So go ahead and rest for a minute. And the next thing we're going to do is when the lumbar will go back, the head will go up, like we did on the floor. And when the head will go down, the lumbar will go forward. So we're doing the unnatural thing now. The lumbar will lengthen and the neck will shorten. And the neck would lengthen from the back, and we're going to arch the lumbar. And this is a position that we find ourselves a lot, right? Watching TV. Huh? Let's do the opposite. Arching forward and lift the head. Lumbar long. And let it go, and find again the lengthening is of both, going into the rounded, I call it the C shape, and coming up to the L shape, the 90 degree, 90. So try not to go with the eyes over the horizon. When you're going into the C shape, your eyes go down like a few feet in front of you. And when you come to the L shape, the eyes go up into the horizon and see where the horizon is for you. We all have different heights. Even if your eyes are closed, work with the eyes together while you're working with the lumbar and the neck. Which eye is moving more dominant than the other? Which eye are you looking with? Your right or your left? Is that the eye that you had more comfortable turning your head towards? So we're building your puzzle. If your eyes are closed, try with the eyes open. If your eyes are open, try with the eyes closed. If you need to change which leg is in front, go change which leg is in front. How does it change the movement? And come back to the center. We're going to do a little bit more in sitting. We're going to take the eyes to the right. They're going to lead the way, and it's going to turn the head. The eyes, muscles of the eyes are moving so far to the right, they're pulling the head with it. It's like pulling a carriage. Stay to the right. Turn your eyes to the left. And start pulling the carriage to the left. So the muscles of the eyes are the one that's pulling the head. You're not moving the head. And when you get as far as you choose to go, turn your eyes to the right. And the eye muscles will start pulling the carriage, the heavy head. Is your head over your bones, over your neck bones? 7 vertebrae. How many of them are rotating, coming to the right with that pulling of your eye muscles? And when you get to the right, you move the eyes to the left. Are your eyes on the horizon? Are your eyes going down a little bit? Change the angle, the placement that the eyes is pulling the head. Just a little bit, micro. Does it change the height of your chin? Whenever you need to rest, you can rest. If you need to do it with your eyes closed, you can do it with your eyes closed. The eye is pulling the head, and think about your neck as a very good oiled machine. There's tons of lubrication between each vertebra in the neck. I find it really hard to pull with the eyes when the eyes is closed. So I choose to do it with the eyes open. But try both. Try which one works for you. And how far down your spine do you feel the rotation? Is the rest of your back wants to join? And go ahead and rest in the center. And come down into laying position.
Uh-huh.
This one.
No.
Oh, here it is.
No. No, that one.
Okay, just a minute.
No.
And go ahead and try to move your head to the right a little bit and to the left a little bit. And see if your head is smoothly turning both ways. Is the other side feeling a little bit more like the first side? And bend your legs one more time. And roll your pelvis to the left without the legs, and roll your head into the right, and stay there. Bring your eyes to the left in the direction of your pelvis. Hold it there for a minute and come back to center everything together, the hip, the head, and the eyes. And roll your hip to the right, roll your head to the left. Bring your eyes up towards the ceiling so they're going to the right. Hold it there for a minute. And bring everything back to center at the same time. Try to coordinate so everything comes to the center at the same time. And again, bring the pelvis to the left. Notice that your right foot is pushing strongly into the floor. Your head is rolling to the right. Eyes are going to the left, which means you're looking straight up to the ceiling. Hold this rotation. And when you're ready, melt everything back into the center at the same time. And when you're ready, roll the pelvis into the right, roll the head into the left, press the left foot into the floor, bring your eyes straight up to the ceiling. Hold it there and melt everything to the center at the same time. And a little bit faster. Hip to the left, head to the right, eyes up. Hold and coming back. And head to the left, pelvis to the right, eyes up and center. And head and pelvis in a position, the eyes go with the pelvis, and center, and change, and center, and change, and center, and change, and center, and change and center, and change and center, and change and center. And see if you can get a rhythm going. And come to the center, lengthen your legs, and roll your head from side to side. See how it feels. Move your nose up and down, and see if your lumbar is responding without you needing to do anything. If it's just part of the movement, as you move your head, the lumbar is moving as well.
Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Wonderful. And let it go. And I thank you for your patience.
Mm.